compelling detective story, a cloak and dagger action, and a romantic drama, all these stories were taken from real life. The history of Kazakhstan is inseparable from the world history. Reflections on history, our version.
Mirror of Time. The fire was glowing and the smell of incense hung in the air. She was muttering spells, staring into the mirror and trying to see the future in the obscure images. However, that day the spirits obviously didn't want to cooperate and the vague images disappeared. It seemed to her that somebody from the unknown future was gazing at her, but all she could see were obscure images. It seems that we've been transferred by time machine back in time a millennia. The tombstone was pushed after the last glance was cast at her body. This is a scientific restoration laboratory situated in Almaty in the 21st century. None of these people know what is in there in the burial mound of an ancient princess. I would really like to look there to see what is hidden beneath these layers of organic decay. In all periods, people had a special attitude towards mirrors. In fact, they scared people. It was connected with a person's soul, related to the notion of a person's soul and its flight towards the upper world. Chapter 1. In Woman's Reflection. Sarmatians' wives led an ancient lifestyle. They went horseback hunting with their husbands, and even alone. They also fought in wars and wore the same clothes their husbands wore. She wasn't tall, was she? No, she wasn't. She was short. Approximately how tall was she? She was 160 centimeters. She was approximately 160 centimeters tall, like me without high heels. It still isn't known what she looked like because anthropological research hasn't been completed yet. She wasn't tall. Today we would say that she had an athletic figure. She was about 20 when she died. People had an average lifespan of just over 40 years. She lived approximately 2,500 years ago. This is her hand. This hand was put here. It was put on her stomach on purpose. This is interesting. Near her pelvis, perhaps beneath it, there seems to be a bag. Here it is. I think it's a little mirror. Yes, it is. She was a golden woman from the Sarmatian or Sauromatai tribe, living in the South Ural steppes. She's called golden because over 500 pieces of gold jewelry were found in her burial mound. This is Taksai 1. The discovery was made in Taksai. 4 complexes were discovered here at one time. This fact is not surprising because according to archaeologists, there are more than 6,000 burial mounds in this region. It proves the fact about high population density. It tells about the process and development, confirming that history processes were more intensive here. According to archaeologist Murat Stikov, the Taksai archaeological find is considered unique because of the burial rite. The tomb wasn't burnt completely. Apparently the fire was built on the surface where the temperature was very high, reaching 1,700 degrees. It's still not known how they did it or what for. Anyway, the Taksai princess was literally revived from the ashes. The Sarmatian period was in the 7th to 8th centuries BC. In that time, as a rule, they burnt all the burial mounds. The word Sarmatians can be translated as people of warlike women or people ruled by women. This city is Uralsk, and here is the Zhaik River. They lived in this region. The Sarmatians were here. In my opinion, our region played a significant part in the history of Kazakhstan, and especially Western Kazakhstan. This is connected with the fact that our land showed more than just examples of Kazakh statehood in ancient times. It's probably impossible to find out the name of this mysterious sovereign. According to ancient authors, royal women warriors were often given the names of deities and queens were considered their earthly incarnations. Priestesses wore conical headdresses which helped them to stay in touch with the gods. Argali was a connection to the spiritual world. The national costumes and bride's dress of modern Kazakhs have a similar size and form. It means that these images and forms date back to that time and they haven't been lost and still remain. There are magical amulets in the form of a wolf's fangs, wolf's paws, swastika signs on plates, a large cooking pot and a brazier. Another sacred item is a comb. We can see it hanging on the side here. Yes, that's the very comb. Perhaps this woman used it. This is her coiffure. Perhaps they wore such hairstyles. I think her hair was long, wasn't it? Yes. In ancient times, they believed that women's hair had magical power. By combing her hair, a priestess made a connection with the other world. There weren't any random objects. Every item in the complex had a certain function. She kindled the sacred fire under the tripod using some wood tar or fragrant herbs. After this, she applied makeup, painted mysterious patterns on her face and looked into the mirror. Perhaps these were important parts of some ancient ceremony. I think that a mirror serves as a kind of line connecting the real world where we live and another one on the other side.
Между тем миром реальным, в котором мы существуем, и тот мир, который, так сказать, существует за этим зеркалом.
Chapter 2. Reflection of the past. A mirror is a vital spirit of such elements as metal and water. Ancient mirrors as well as ancient swords are like deities. Is that the mirror which was found in the burial mound of this beauty? Yes, it was found together with this beauty. It's been put in a case. So this is the mirror. Now, are we going to... Oh, it's heavy. Of course, what did you expect? So she was a physically strong woman. Yes, she was. However, perhaps somebody helped her with the mirror. So we have such a mirror. What is its weight? I think it's about 1 kilogram. On seeing their reflection, they understood that they were people. The first mirrors contributed to self-identification. The surface of lakes, puddles and rivers were the first mirrors. There are containers which are sometimes called mirrors. Water was poured into these containers, which were then used as mirrors. There are spherical recesses of the caves in Akbauer. When the sun's rays come in at a certain angle, the water refracts the light, which reflects off the cave. Water mirrors and stone mirrors are reflections of the distant past in Akbauer Sanctuary. Later, stone mirrors appeared. What is a stone mirror? It's a large flat stone with a concave surface. The earliest mirrors I know of refer to approximately 7th to 6th millennia BC. 10,000 years ago, these mirrors were made of obsidian, which was a volcanic glass. The glass was polished, and as a result, they became mirrors. The most famous ancient mirrors were made of bronze, but not everyone could afford them, as they were very expensive. The earliest mirrors found in Kazakhstan are behind you. They refer to the Andronovo culture. These mirrors were made of bronze, so they could see their reflection in them. The Scythians used them in everyday life, and afterwards the Sarmatians, who were proud of their appearance, also used them. Incidentally, bronze and gilded mirrors could actually make you look even more attractive than reality. The main part is made of bronze and is covered with this white colour, which is either tin or silver. It's interesting that she really used it, and you can see that its handle is shabby, which means it wasn't just a burial mirror. She used it when she was alive. She also used the temple rings because some parts had broken off in some of them. Some others had been repaired. Mirrors were used as weapons. They could dazzle enemies, and in addition they were used as light transmitters, similar to Morse code.
в период сакский, гунский.
I think that during the Sax and Hun periods, priests used mirrors to transmit certain signs and information.
Предметов, которые передавали определенные знаки, информацию.
То есть с помощью зеркала днем.
They used mirrors in the daytime and fire at nighttime. They would hide and then reveal the fire to transmit a signal. Even if you're thousands of kilometers away, you could receive information. It was like a mobile phone for them.
Как в сотовом телефоне. Так что это ихний сотовый телефон.
As for Scythians and Sarmatians, they used another kind of mirror. Musical mirrors were spread among them. One part of them was smooth and polished, while the other had a concave surface with a conical protrusion in the center. Pieces of metal were put between them, so they made a sort of rattle. During ritual dances, priestesses were not only looking in the mirror, but they were also singing and playing musical instruments. Chapter 3. Mirror's Spell. For in thee is each living creature's breath and life. When, excellent, thou dawnest forth, bring thou thereby the pious unto holy rites. Those who as priests sing praise to thee. This part is made of bronze. The handle is made of gold and inlaid with turquoise. It's the all-seeing eye and tunnel between two worlds, the subtle world and the physical one. The word magician is derived from an ancient Indian word, maja, meaning mirror. Looking into it, you can see the fruits of your power. This object is considered sacred. Only certain people with status would have been allowed to own it.
Человек это только определенный человек, имеющий определенный статус.
Ancient doctors used mirrors to cure people. They hypnotized their patients and persuaded diseases to leave the body. They believed that silver, tin, and iron would bring down the fever, while gold and bronze would help you keep warm. The magical properties of mirrors often provided an opportunity to use them in some healing practices. Sometimes particles were scraped off from bronze mirrors and given to sick people as medicine. A mirror could also be used to place a hex, but at the same time it could also be a protective amulet because of its smooth, round, yellow surface. It's connected with solar symbolism, the sun and symbol of the sun, and people belonging to those who performed some religious magical actions. There's an image of a Scythian woman holding a mirror in her left hand. Another person who is drinking from a vessel is standing in front of her. It was probably a marriage ritual, in which the newlyweds were looking at their reflection. However, according to another interpretation, it was an ancient rite of initiation or worship. It's obvious that the woman in the image was the one in charge. Mirrors remained with the owner after death. They were broken and put into a tomb. Usually they were broken into two pieces. Either one or both of the pieces were then put in the tomb with the deceased. Although the mirrors are mainly found in women's burial mounds, in rare cases they have also been found in men's burial mounds as well.
В основном в женских погребениях встречаются зеркала, но в редких случаях и в мужских погребениях встречаются.
Our ancestors perceived the world to be divided by the reflection of a mirror as a whole, as the passage of time. A person never dies but moves to the next world while another person takes their place. It's the renewal of life, day and night. Epilogue, mediator between two worlds. The concept of time was one of the most difficult to perceive in the past, just as it is now. The majority of ancient notions of time were related to water. A flowing river changes constantly and reflects faces, events and epochs. It's a mirror of time. The fact that we know very little about our history is the most important scientific discovery for us. Further research is very interesting. I believe it will open up a new page of our history and culture. Not everyone can look into a mirror and see the destiny of the world within. Nevertheless, it seems that the Golden Priestesses did not only read secret signs of the present, but could also see the reflections of the past and the future. To meet her glance, all living creatures bend down. Excellent One, maker of light, the daughter of the sky, the opulent, shines foes and enmities away.